Hello, I'm Dr. Tara Palmatier of shrinkformen.com. If you'd like to ask me a question or schedule a session, you can reach me at shrinkformen@gmail.com. The topic of this video is why do some narcissists and borderlines ruin Christmas and New Year's? Many people look forward to the holidays. They enjoy seeing friends and family, twinkle lights, decorations, parties, special foods, and giving gifts to loved ones. They seek drama by attending performances of the Nutcracker Suite or watching It's a Wonderful Life or the endless loop of the Christmas Story on the Superstation. You'll shoot your eye out. There are many people who do not look forward to the holidays, especially if they're married to or dating or share custody with an abusive, narcissistic, or borderline partner or ex, and or have parents and other family members with these issues. If you're in the latter group, you've probably come to dread the holidays because they're now synonymous with tantrums, blame and shame fests, guilt trips, drama, pointless conflict, and tantrums. Narcissists, borderlines, histrionics, psychopaths, and other abusive personalities often escalate their bitterness, rage, cruelty, and martyrdom during the holiday season. And they're not the kind of people to suffer in silence. Unless, of course, they're giving you the silent treatment. If Nancy the narcissist or Bob the borderline ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Or, to use another cliche, misery loves company. Actually, misery frequently takes pleasure in making others miserable. It's another way narcissists and borderlines get their partner to carry their emotional garbage for them. Probably not what you wanted for Christmas or Hanukkah. This time of year, I hear many common complaints from clients. Here are some that are fairly typical. And these are my clients, again, are the current partners or former partners of narcissists and borderlines, as well as parents and siblings. So first, she hates my family and picks a fight before we're supposed to visit. Then she refuses to go and gets mad if I go without her. The correct response to your borderline or narcissistic partner pitching a tantrum and then refusing to go visit your family is to go visit your family without them. Don't let them sabotage that. If you don't go, that just reinforces that their acting out gets the narcissist or borderline what they want. Keep in mind, if you do go, they'll likely become even angrier and you'll get guilt tripped and God knows what else when you get home. However, walking on eggshells only gets you more eggshells. Being a doormat leads to more bad behavior until one of you decides you've had enough. Another common complaint is that the narcissist complains that Christmas is too commercial, then gets angry if I don't buy him an extravagant gift. Well, one way you could handle that is by making a donation to your favorite charity in his name or her name, as the case may be. Will the narcissist pout and tantrum? Probably. You want to make the narcissist really angry? Give them exactly what they say they want. Abusers are masters of the double bind, or what's also known as a no-win situation. And the sooner you figure this out, the better. Drop the rope and find a safe exit out of the relationship. That's the only win, getting your life and yourself back. Another common complaint is everything is a fight. Buying the tree, where to put the tree, wrapping paper, where to go on vacation, presents for the kids. Everything is fodder for criticism and conflict. If she's being a pill, take the kids to an ice skating rink. Will she be mad? Sure, but she's already angry, so why not get some respite for you and the kids? Another complaint. She expects me to spend an outrageous amount of money. If I don't, she pouts, cries, tantrums, and makes life miserable. Let her pout and cry, preferably while you're at the gym or visiting your family. Why do you stay and tolerate this? Figuring that out is a far better way to spend your time, effort, and money than buying her presents that she's just going to criticize, reject, or not give you appreciation for. Another complaint? He starts getting really nasty in October, just as the store decorations go up. He issues proclamations about what we will and won't do this year. So ignore him and do what you want to do. Leave him out of it. Now, if you are with a narcissist or borderline who becomes physically violent, an escalation to you having boundaries or asserting yourself, then do whatever it is that you need to do to stay safe until you can get yourself out of there and to a place of safety. Mature, stable people don't lose their marbles over Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, and Valentine's Day. They just don't. Another complaint I often hear this time of year is, I've come to dread and hate the holidays. Well, that's a consequence of being in an abusive, toxic relationship. End the relationship, do your work, and you'll eventually appreciate and look forward to all the things the narcissist or borderline has soured for you. Another common complaint is she tries to control everything. And if something isn't perfect or goes awry, she gets angry, blames me or the kids, and guilt trips us about not appreciating everything she does to make Christmas perfect. We don't care about having a Martha Stewart meets Etsy Christmas. We just want to relax and have fun. It's a nightmare. Martycists, that's martyr plus narcissists, are especially irritating. At least they are to me. You could tell her the crucifixion occurs on Good Friday and that it's a bit early to climb up on her cross, but that probably won't go well. There's actually, I think there's a book out now on the topic. It was spawned from a viral article a year or so ago about emotional labor. The author totally confuses what emotional labor actually is, which is actually a concept that occurs in the workplace, and applies it to her frustration about trying to make everything perfect for her family, and they just don't appreciate it. If you want to read the musings of a martyr-cyst, check that stuff out. Let's see. Another common complaint I often hear this time of year is the ex plays games with holiday drop-offs and pickups, wanting to swap time or coming up with excuses for being late. Forget reindeer games. This is textbook narcissist and borderline or high conflict, whatever you want to call it, co-parent custody games. If you have a clear court order, stick with it. Say no to requests and adhere to that court order unless the request makes your life or the children's lives easier or it's in the kids' best interests. Show up when you're supposed to. And if the ex doesn't, then document it and add it to the list for when you eventually have to go back to court with that person. It's really the only way to make your life sane, is to make the insane person not dictate the terms of how you live your life or the custody schedule. You follow it as it's written. Another common complaint is the ex refuses to let our kids see my side of the family. And again, unless there's a court order prohibiting the kids visiting with your family or your new spouses, that's just too bad for their grinchiness. If there are no registered sex offenders or active addicts in your family in attendance at the holiday gathering, your custody time, your choice. Another complaint, the ex tells our kids I spend more money on their step-siblings and new partner because I love them more. This is just textbook. It's childish and it's petty, not to mention a blatant alienation tactic. Reassure the kids that you love them. Love isn't finite, and what the other parent is telling them simply isn't true. Another common complaint is that the ex treats Christmas like a competition. She badgered me into agreeing to a spending limit for the kids, then bought ridiculously expensive toys, making me look like a cheapskate. Just don't play this game. You're under no obligation to tell your ex what you're giving the kids for Christmas, so don't. Don't make agreements or promises with someone who's repeatedly demonstrated that they operate in bad faith. Narcissists and borderlines often equate material goods with love and teach their kids to do the same. As the non-disordered, healthier parent, I assume if you're watching this, you are, it is your job to model a better way of being to the kids. And finally, another very common complaint I hear during the holiday season is the ex puts the kids into double binds by planning ski trips for my custody time or, some other fun activity. I look like the bad guy when I insist on seeing them. This is another crummy and common textbook tactic used by disordered, alienating parents. Look, eventually you're going to have a conversation with your kids about disappointment. You can explain what the custody order says, not in great detail, but that if mom or dad, depending on who the alienating parent is, tries to get the kids excited about activities or concerts or ski trips or Disneyland that occur during your custody time, that you're going to say no, that their mother or their father has custody time as well, and they should be scheduling things to do with the kids during that time, not yours. And you can also explain to the kids, depending on their age and their level of understanding, why it's unfair to put you in the position for you to say no. So why do narcissists and borderlines ruin the holidays? Well, like most of their toxic behavior, it can be distilled down to the primitive fears, core wounds from childhood, and defense mechanisms that drive them. In some cases, they may be reliving their original family drama, or in other cases, it's just spite, mean-spiritedness, self-absorption, and selfishness. So I've broken this down into 3 large reasons, but there are, I'm sure several others. I'm just going to talk about the 3 most common ones that I see. So the first one is control. The holidays often trigger narcissists and borderlines' control freakery and ratchet it to greater heights. They manage their anxiety by controlling others and everything around them. This rarely works and often creates a paradoxical effect whereby the more they try to control others, the more out of control they feel. In turn, this makes them more aggressive in their efforts to maintain some kind of illusory control. It's a vicious cycle and sucks if you're on the receiving end of it. Hence the double-time control tactics such as bullying, manipulation, intimidation, guilt, shame, rage, etc. For example, if she says your family makes her anxious, i.e., she fears exposure, feeling inferior, or not being the center of attention, she then orchestrates a self-created drama or conflict or imagined insult or slight as an excuse to boycott your family. Although refusing to visit your family does make her the center of attention, albeit in absentia. Their anxiety is a painful reminder that something is wrong with them. Narcissists rarely acknowledge their issues to themselves, never mind others. If something is wrong, it must be you who's at fault. Hence their attempts to control your actions, thoughts, and feelings. Narcissists control to protect their false self's fear of rejection and the underlying feelings of inferiority and inadequacy. Borderlines control to protect their false self's fear of abandonment and the underlying feelings of inferiority and inadequacy. Some narcissists who've hit rock bottom, I did a video on that, you can check that out, may temporarily self-pityingly acknowledge their issues, then resume blaming others once their ego crisis passes. Self-aware narcissists are often able to acknowledge their issues and in excruciating detail. They show you their awareness in a way that they actually seem proud of. Look, awareness does not necessarily translate into change. After they show off their awareness, these self-aware narcissists typically then make excuses for their awful behavior, seek sympathy for their lack of attunement to others, and then use their awareness to rationalize why their victims need to be more understanding and stick around for more abuse. Many diagnosed borderlines do this too. Being self-aware of their pathology and their abusive behavior, I don't think that's something to feel positive or hopeful about, okay? You can feel positive and hopeful if that awareness leads to change, but if it's not leading to change and a decrease in their abusive and toxic behaviors, then who cares if they're self-aware? In my opinion, that just makes them worse because they know and they're not doing anything about it. Real progress involves taking responsibility for themselves, considering how their behavior affects others, and making the necessary changes. Whinging about how upsetting it is to be confronted by and held accountable for their behavior when they've suffered so much just because insert bad things that allegedly happened to them isn't progress, nor is it indicative of recovery. It's manipulation disguised as recovery. 2, when you're dealing with the buzzkill queen or king. Abusers often like nothing better than keeping others from having a good time, especially if they know it's something you enjoy. It's not enough for the narcissist to be sullen and angry. All the who's in Whoville need to be miserable too. In fact, it warms their two sizes, too small heart to ruin holidays and other special occasions for their nearest and dearest. And actually, now that I think about it, this is just yet another form of control. For example, the first and only year my narcissistic ex visited my family with me, he tried to sabotage the 4th of July fireworks display. And just to put it in context, 4th of July is a very big deal in my family's hometown. It has one of the oldest celebrations in the US. I asked several times for us to head to the waterfront. He dawdled and dawdled and dawdled. And this is, by the way, this is the same man who throws a fit if he has to wait a minute for anyone. After we finally left my family's house, he just had to get a slice of pizza before going to the dock. He had to. Never mind that he'd been grazing all day at the family barbecue. The line for the pizza parlor was out the door, around the corner, and down the street. When I expressed my frustration, asking if he could do pizza after the fireworks, he chided me because, "Really? Are you that excited by fireworks? What are you, 5? And yes, I really do enjoy fireworks. He was behaving like the churlish 5-year-old. Why? Who knows? I don't care. I'm just happy I don't have to deal with him anymore. Narcissists glitch when it comes to experiencing genuine happiness, joy, warmth, and goodwill. Relationships are transactional. Generosity of spirit is an alien concept. They don't do for others without the expectation that they will get something with interest compounded by the minute in return. They resent that other people have this capacity, which is why they begrudge simple pleasures to their partners and children. As I just mentioned, this can also be a control tactic. By destroying the things you care about and enjoy, abusers grind you down a little bit more. This results in weakening you, thereby making you an easier target. It's also a form of withholding. Withholding is about power and control too. They delight in denying you anything that's pleasurable or would bring you happiness and comfort. So don't let them Scrooge you this year. Center of attention. Many narcissists and borderlines become unhinged if they're not the center of attention. If they can't get good attention, bad attention will do. By escalating their acting out, lashing out, and acting in during the holidays, they become the focus. Everyone walks on eggnog shells to avoid upsetting them and in a futile effort to make them happy. Oftentimes, what makes these individuals happy is your willingness to jump through their never-ending hoops and chasing after the goalpost they keep in constant motion. In other words, you enabling them is their jam. Oh, whoops, I was incorrect. Instead of three common reasons, I have 4. So 4, unhappy childhoods. Abusive, emotionally unavailable, uninterested, mentally ill, alcoholic, addicted, personality disordered parents, whatever the dysfunctional configuration, can do a tremendous amount of damage to children. Not all abused kids grow up to abuse others as adults. However, for those that do, child abuse may explain the behavior of a narcissistic or borderline adult, but it does not excuse it. Perhaps some of these individuals have horrible holiday memories and are unconsciously or consciously compelled to continue the painful tradition as adults. Perhaps ruining their partners' and kids' holidays makes them feel powerful like their abusive parents seem to them. Perhaps they're replaying the old wound and are angry that you're not making it better for them. And you can't do that, by the way. You can't make it better for them. They have to make it better for them, just like every one of us has to make it better for ourselves. These individuals don't see that they have the ability to break the pattern and have a new positive experience. Why? Well, it would mean acknowledging their issues and doing the work themselves. And this isn't work that they only have to do a few times and then it's mastered. It requires effort in maintaining awareness and self-control every single day for the rest of their lives. This is hard work. It's a commitment. If these individuals are aware of their issues and are still acting them out, again, what good does that awareness do them, or more importantly, you? Since misery loves company, they drag others down with them. Why do they do anything? Self-gratification, even if it's very short-lived and carries painful consequences for them. Spoiling the holidays for everyone else seems to make them feel better, at least in the moment. Many of these individuals claim to have had perfect families and perfect holidays. They blame you for the holiday discord by saying it's all your fault. You and your family are the ones with the problems. This is probably projection. People with happy childhood memories and relatively healthy family of origin experiences don't go into radioactive free fall after Halloween. I work with recovering codependents and trauma-bonded individuals. Many of them don't have the best childhood holiday memories either. Instead of taking it out on the people around them, they focus on self-care. Excuse me. They focus on self-care and don't begrudge their friends and family having a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, or a Happy New Year. It's a conscious decision they make, and they don't feel resentful and angry about it. While understanding why narcissists, borderlines, and other personality disordered individuals do the crazy-making, hurtful things they do might bring you some relief, ultimately it doesn't change anything. Does knowing why they abuse you make the abuse more tolerable? Does knowing all the diagnostic subsets help you move forward, heal, and lead a healthier life? Why not make this the last holiday you spend walking on eggshells? Devote that time and energy to yourself, get healthy, get strong, and get out. Again, I'm Dr. Tara Palmatier of shrinkformen.com. If you'd like to ask me a question or schedule a session to work with me, you can reach me at shrinkformen@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good afternoon.